Well, welcome back to Norfolk. First nice spring morning we've had this year when it's really enticed us down onto this little vegetable garden that we created last year, and there's a lot to do. As you can see, just look at the lovely crop of weeds we've got coming on here. These big brown things fallen down in front of me are the Jerusalem artichokes that grew really well here last year. What I've got to do now is just cut those off at ground level and give them a good weed. Now's the time of year to be harvesting some Jerusalem artichokes. I'll probably put a fork in to some of these big plants and show you some of the tubers that we've grown. In the background we've got, see those little rows of irises just popping through. Had to move an awful lot of iris last year with the builders wanting to put scaffolding up and quite a few other areas that we had to just decant the irises. But also when we replanted the long iris border, we had a massive amount of excess tubers that we've just dug in rows on this vegetable garden at the end of last season. Now look, they're all coming up really nicely. I might, if I haven't got places to move these to, just let them come on and flower here and use them as a cut flower. Absolutely spectacular, but not something that's usually seen as a cut flower though, due to the effort you've got to put in to grow it. All this dead nettle's got to come out of these borders. There's old partly harvested rows of potatoes that might still be edible, but at this time of year, if you don't get them up quickly, they're going to start shooting again very soon, and that's not a great idea to just let them come up year after year because of the disease that builds up in the soil. I'm just at this back bit starting to clear my rhubarb crowns. They are pretty well established in here last year, and just look at see that little red bud just poking through. Lovely big crown there. Now obviously when you move rhubarb, or when you first put it in, it takes a good few years before you get a big, healthy, deep-rooted, thick-rooted taproot that puts up an awful lot of leaf. But I'm thinking this year I'm going to try forcing a few of the larger crowns that we moved into this area. And before I do that, again, I just want to clear this whole area out. We've got running buttercup, nettle, there's some lemon balm seeded in there as well. See that little variegated leaf? It can be a bugger to get up because it's got a really fibrous, deep, tough taproot, but we'll get a fork under it. The artichokes in the back here have done really well last year. They really surprised me. Went in the first year and I really wasn't expecting them to do anything. They've all overwintered nicely and are looking beautifully healthy at the moment. Again, we're just tidying up some of the rotten dead leaf around the base, weeding very carefully so not to damage the roots. And we'll probably put a top dressing on this border to try and keep the weeds down. I'm thinking of bringing some of the litter out of one of the chicken runs and putting that around them. Don't want to over nitrogen them or overfeed them too quickly. They'll get very, very tall, leggy, and I don't want them to do that and collapse. Need them to be self-supporting on this area. The rhubarb will obviously fill in front of those, and then I'm thinking moving this old bean pole that we had runner beans on. I don't know if you're like me, I always grow runner beans, always think I'll eat them this year. I don't think we harvested a single runner bean off these last year, but I'm sure I'll grow them again this year. I always do, but I'm thinking maybe move these out of here, and I do want to bring some soft fruit because we have got to move where our existing raspberries are down into this border. And again, I'm thinking unless I've got a proper fruit net here, because it's on the edge of Wildside, you can hear the bird song in the distance. I don't think with a main crop raspberry I'll harvest a single berry if it's not under netting. I don't particularly want the faff of having to net it, so I'm thinking autumn raspberries because we usually get away with those. The squirrels have got other things distracting them, and the birds have got plenty in the hedgerows by that time of year when they're starting to fruit in late July, August and September. So I'm thinking a row of autumn raspberries. Again, they don't need support, they can just be left as you grow them on the canes that come up each year. So that's got to be done. Next is to tidy up this little protected bed. This is one of my salad beds from last year. The only thing that's overwintered in here is the flat leaf parsley, but again, if we can get in there and tidy all that up, I think it will shoot again very nicely and give us some early flat leaf parsley. In fact, it's already starting to shoot from the centre of some of these crowns that have overwintered. To the side of it I put this little, what is actually a rabbit run, sold in pet shops as a rabbit run, but it's great here, keeps the pigeons off, And just look at what we've overwintered here. This is a winter salad mix. Sorry, it's focusing on the mesh. And I've got a lovely little crop of fresh leaves coming on there, with behind it some fresh rocket, again all overwintered. And I think this little very variegated, it's quite a bitter leaf that, but again I love a little lettuce. I think it's probably in the endive family, but all overwintered. I've got some nicely overwintered weed seedlings in there as well, and nettles that I need to get out, but I'm going to tidy that up today in this morning sunshine. We've also got just the last of the beetroot, still very edible. We'll harvest those soon. Again, don't want to leave it much later because they're going to start shooting. Same with the leeks. Time to get your leeks eaten and the ground turned over and prepped, which will give us in this border a very nice blank sowing opportunity. Got to decide what we're going to rotate through this. Last year, where the leeks were, we first had potatoes and then followed it on by transplanting the leeks, beetroot, and in the corner I grew sweet corn. So I'll probably rotate this border into one of the others, and so that we're not getting the build-up of any diseases. So I've got a good morning's work on here, I think. Luckily I've got Kate coming down to help me. She's quite keen in the sunshine. It's actually quite nice here, where the rest of the UK's got snow. But anyway, I'm going to crack on. Thanks for joining us. We'll show you our progress in this vegetable garden throughout this spring season. Hopefully going to be a productive little plot down here this year. Now we've got all the borders established and the soil really coming into nice condition. Thanks for watching.